Hi, I'm Nancy O'Neill, Director of Detroit Business Hub Group. Welcome to the Detroit Business Hub Group podcast. Listen to business professionals share their expertise to help you start and accelerate your business. Invest in your business now. I recently wrote a book called Fire Your Job, Be Your Own Boss. And from the book, I realized that a lot of business owners, especially new business owners, they need help. They don't necessarily know all the ins and outs of business because it's new to them and they're on a learning curve. Because as a business owner, you're not just selling your product or concept, you're also running the business. So you're in charge of human resources, people calling, customer complaints. You're in charge of product quality. You're in charge of people management, hiring staff, payroll. So these are all parts of owning your own business. It's not just the product or service that you're offering. You can either choose to hire people to do those things, but most of the time with new business owners, they do it themselves. The Hub Group comes in to help because we are a group of business professionals. We own our own businesses, and we can help you put those pieces together. So the benefit of the Hub Group is that you have access to 8 to 9 different professionals who, on your own, if you were to go to them, more than likely you could not afford them. We're offering you these products at a discounted rate in order to help you grow your business.
Working on your business, unlike working in your business, working on your business is planning time. Taking the opportunity to realize you need just as much time to plan the access to your business as you do working in the business. In other words, how are you going to get customers to come to your business? That's working on your business. Working in your business is servicing those customers.
We have about 8 group members, and everyone has a specialty that they do as a business owner to help new business owners get off the ground.
Frequently, the difference between a new business succeeding and failing is the expertise they're able to bring to the problems that confront every business. The Hub Group brings you into contact with people who are not only capable of doing the work, but have the experience in the fields that you're working in and are actually interested in helping startups. It's very different working with a startup than it is working with a more mature company.
For Dimensions Consulting Group is an HR firm. What I learned being in a nonprofit is that a lot of small business owners don't have HR departments and they don't have the resources to bring on an HR professional. So we offer services such as HR compliance, consulting, organizational assessments, and training, amongst many other HR-related issues.
Everybody has a different kind of skill set and different wheelhouse and so forth. So I think where I've perhaps excelled is just salesmanship. Sold vehicles for 10, 12 years. Going back to when I was 19 years old, I mean, the skills that I've learned and acquired kind of still serves me to this day. I maintain relationships, how important integrity is, how important your word is. You know, I've clients who purchased when I was 20, 21 years old, okay, bought a vehicle from me, who are clients to this day, and they trust me with their, you know, be it a retirement account.
So with the media side, I create content for social media outlets. So I create their templates, I create their photography, posts, videos, commercials, and promotional videos. And I also do photography for their services only. On the marketing side, I teach and train business owners and entrepreneurs how to market their business online. And along with that, I do one-on-one coaching, I do consultations, I do anything following along with helping them market their brand and business. In the market, as far as digital marketing and advertisement, things are changing swiftly. Very important for you to upgrade your business right now on the marketing and advertisement room.
Ashton Business Consulting is a full-service CPA firm. I provide accounting, bookkeeping, and advisory services to small businesses, nonprofits, and individuals. For businesses starting out, day one, you need to set up a solid accounting system. Okay? You have to understand where your expenses are going. You need to understand where your revenue comes from, not only from a management perspective, but also from a tax perspective.
So the most important thing that no business owner realizes when they get started is the cost of doing business. I work with helping business owners write their business plan and also decide on what type of business entity they want to start with. You can purchase 2 packages through the Hub Group. One is a starter package, and that is with me helping you form your business plan and also deciding which business entity you're going to select. I also help you file the paperwork with the state as well as get your EIN number. We have 7 other professionals who all have their own specialties. So that could be real estate, that can be insurance, that could be legal services, that can be HR services. So by the time that you start your business on day 1 or opening day, you have a thorough understanding of what you're getting yourself into. You have a game plan, which is your business plan. Your business entity is set up so you won't be getting in trouble with taxes. And you're going to have everything that you need to successfully start your business.
I woke up this morning thinking about how am I going to grow my business in 2020? How do I want us to grow? I got up at 5 a.m., left the bedroom, went and sat at the kitchen table, and started writing ideas down. I've done this for the last 20 years. Whenever it hits me, I plan. So that's that part of planning, to work on your business instead of in your business. I got up, went to the table, and I put down, what did I make in 2019? What did I make in 2018, 2017? Because what that tells me is a trend as to what the possibilities are. So I set what I call my realistic goal. And then I had what we call our stretch goal. So I set a stretch goal in there. So my stretch goal, if I hit that, I'm gonna be super, super happy. But if I hit my minimum goals, I will take care of my 10 employees. They will go on vacations. We will all do well. So minimum is still gonna allow me to live a great life. But the stretch is a game changer.
If you're ready to jumpstart your business in 2020, hire the Detroit Business Hub Group and go to my website at nancyo'neal.com.
Good evening. My name is Ken Scott. I'm with CSW Real Estate, or Camler Scott and Wallace Real Estate.
Okay. All right. I'm Nancy O'Neal. I'm the director of Detroit Business Hub Group. So we're just going to go right into our questions. How does the Michigan market look since it's reopened? I just asked question number 1. How does the real estate market look since it has reopened?
Well, a number of factors. It took off pretty fast. I think there were a lot of people that were waiting for the market to open up again. From the look of all the listings that were out there, a lot of the homes that were out there had offers on them almost instantaneously. So the market is pretty much in good shape. It's about people's fear of the market at this point in time and whether they should venture out and prepare for home ownership. The other thing that has changed drastically, to my surprise, is the fact that the minimum credit score for purchasing a home now has gone up somewhere between 10 and 20 points. So that may exclude some people from buying a home now.
Okay.
Depending on what entity you use and what bank you or credit union you use.
Okay. So what if someone's like a first-time home buyer? Can they still qualify for a federal loan? Has that credit score gone up as well?
Depending on what entity they use again, and depending on what financial institution they use, as well as what tool they use. keep in mind that banks not only have the MR program, they have the FHA programs and what have you, or Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. But at the same time, they may have their own portfolio products that they can use in order to minimize the damage of the credit score going up.
Okay. And how are some of the real estate businesses, how are they thriving or surviving after COVID-19? How are you seeing with some of either your own personal business or some of your colleagues?
Well, obviously, now you have to take necessary precautions. You have to wear the mask and the gloves and what have you, and allow for proper distancing. You don't want to go into a home, preferably that is been occupied or whatever the case may be. Or if you do, you want to make sure that those protocols have been taken care of prior to entering and exiting.
Okay. What's your experience been like as a realtor since you've been working since like the first week in May? We're still in COVID-19, but now that you've been able to go back to work.
Well, the one thing that I have done to prepare myself and anyone that is either a buyer or a seller is make sure that they're properly prepared. Knowing the conditions, knowing the market conditions, and making sure that they're aware of what they're entering into, and making sure that their financial situation right now is stable enough in order to enter the market or sell a property.
Okay. All right. How is the seller's market right now? You mentioned the buyer's market. Are a lot of people trying to sell their homes and relocate somewhere else?
That has been a factor. There are a number of homes that were on hold when the COVID virus was announced, that they are presently putting their homes on the market, but at the same time with some hesitation because they don't know how the market conditions are, with the unemployment rate being what it is and the underemployment rate being what it is.
Yeah, exactly. Do you find that more realtors are taking advantage of technology, like having like the virtual tours in the homes? Because I'm sure a lot of homeowners don't necessarily want people, visiting and walking around their house either.
Well, it's an absolute necessity at this point in time. I mean, I'm very involved in my community and what have you, and several other communities, and it's almost a necessity that you get acclimated to the new virtual way of doing things, because you're not going to have a private audience like you did before, or the interactions that you had before.
Okay. So does the realtor find themselves having to pay for some of that technology on their own, or are they getting support from their brokers? How is that working?
Depending on the situation. I always say preparation meets opportunity and what have you. And if you know that this will exist and will be the new norm from this point on and what have you, you want to make sure that you're prepared, and you have to invest in your own business. I mean, you have to make sure that you are taking the necessary steps to prepare for your own business.
Okay. So with investing in your own business, how are some realtors doing that when some of them may have been suffering through COVID-19? I know that Governor Whitmer did allow 1099 employees to file unemployment, which is unprecedented. So I'm sure that helped a lot. But this is probably a difficult time for a lot of businesses to invest, and business owners. So what are some of the things that they did to do that, be able to do that?
I mean, for the most part, what you do is you like, if you're like me, you attend as many Zoom calls as possible, as many webinars as possible. You try to improve your craft as best you can to prepare for this market. I mean, the mindset of the agent, the broker, the seller, the buyer, whatever the case may be, all of that has been altered because of this, and probably will never be the same. And we won't even come to a sense of contentment until the end of the year.
Yeah. Hopefully there will be a vaccine in place by then. But I think
hopefully
that
there's a vaccine, but at the same time, always take the necessary precautions.
absolutely. I just say a vaccine in terms of putting consumers and the community at ease, because I think so many of us are like on edge right now for whatever reason. Like everything's been disturbed. Like there is no normal. The normalcy that we were used to no longer, well, it doesn't exist right now.
Right.
So, and everybody had like a routine. Well, the routine is like up in the air now. So I think it's thrown a lot of people, for a loop. And as a result of that, anxiety, fear can set in. But you just have to try to make the best out of it. And like you said, you're bettering your crafts. You're finding out what you can do to improve yourself as a professional. Absolutely. I mean, it's what else can you do, especially when you're in sales? I mean, this is your livelihood.
You just suit up. You make sure that you have that armor on, and make sure that you're protected. Yeah.
And what happens in the natural market is that I know that there was one time, like I heard when I first was thinking about going into real estate, like in the 80s, there were like 100,000 real estate agents in Michigan, and then something happens, and then a lot of them they fall off because some of them are only selling 1 or 2 houses a year anyway. So things kind of like level out. So I think some of the realtors that are in the market now are looking, because I fell out the market in 2008 when the recession hit, and I'm like, I can't live off of this. So I think the market has a way of working itself out, that people who were kind of on the periphery and not really full-time agents, or not really serious if some major event or crisis happens, they tend to find something else to do. So that helps the ones that, are making a long-time career out of it, that it helps the market be a little bit less competitive.
Well, I've been in the market for 22 years. I've been real estate for 22 years. And during the time that I entered, the market was good and getting better. And then all of a sudden in 2007, 2008 that you referred to, the market kind of went south, and a number of foreclosures were happening and what have you. And I decided you have to pivot. You have to pivot from that role of a realtor. And what I did was I pivoted to the position of a housing counselor, because I knew what those individuals were going to get involved, they were going to deal with and what have you. And I knew I had to at least protect them as best I could from what was going on. And at the same time, also state that there was an educational process involved, to the point where they shouldn't be really alarmed at this point, but at the same time, they also had to make a pivot or a transition. And in doing so, I helped those individuals before their credit went south and what have you, to make sure that they weren't damaged for an extended period of time. If you are a person that is unsure of this market and what have you, the best thing that you can do, if it's available to you, is to shore up your finances, shore up your credit and what have you. Hopefully you are not unemployed, but if you are and what have you, and you're still receiving unemployment benefits and what have you, you have to allocate whatever you can allocate, and let people know ahead of time what your process is and what you're going through. So it can stave off foreclosures, it can stave off eviction, stave off a number of factors that are going to influence you later on.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, right now we're dealing with the world pandemic, but just in general, you always want to keep that good relationship with your creditors and just let them know, what's going on. One of my creditors actually called me out the blue, and I was like, uh-oh. What's going on? It's like, I'm just checking in to see if you need help with anything. I was like, really? I'm like, you're a creditor. I didn't think you guys did that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's what I said. I was like, oh, thank God. I thought it was about something else.
Okay.
But we're so used to them calling us being negative, when they say, he's like, hey, just want to make sure everything's going well. Do you need help with anything? I'm like, well, not really. I'm going, can you give me a break on paying my bill this month? He's like, are you still employed? I'm like, yes. He's like, no. I was like, well, I tried.
You know, I love the steps that our governor has taken as far as staving off the evictions and the foreclosures and the creating the
Student
forbearance
loans.
programs and what have you.
Yeah.
Because if that had not taken place, we would have been in a different space at this point in time.
Absolutely.
She has really gone over and beyond what I expected of her. Matter of fact, I don't know if I had as high expectations as I have at this point, had at that point when I voted for her, that she would rise to the occasion that she has risen to. And I am pleasantly surprised. Hopefully, during this time that people are in forbearance as a result of this process and what have you, and staving off evictions and staving off foreclosures and what have you, they have taken the necessary steps to save, put their money to the side that they don't have to spend at this point in time. And once that forbearance period has gone away and what have you, they're ready to step back into the process. The other thing is, I love the fact that most utilities, as well as some landlords and most banks and mortgage companies or what have you, are willing to work with the person that is going through this process, because if you've ever been unemployed or ever been underemployed, then you know that you need some assistance at this point in time. And,
absolutely.
it's there for you. I was surprised when AT&T contacted me and said, listen, hey, if you're having some problems, let us know. State Farm did the same thing. I was like, okay, what kind of world are we living in right now where, like you said, the creditor is calling you?
I know, you the other way around.
Exactly. But at the same time, it's incumbent upon us, if we're having a problem with any creditor or any debt at this point in time, that you contact them first and let them know what your present situation is and how long you expect to be in that situation. Because that can mean a world of difference for those individuals that are going through some things, especially if you have kids or you're on reduced income and what have you. You have to let those people know ahead of time so they can help you.
Yeah, there are bills to pay too, so we have to understand that too. So you just have to check, just like we're business owners, they're business owners too. We're waiting on to get paid from certain vendors or, in my case, members. Hey, they're waiting on the same thing because all of us have to, keep this going. And it's been some type of interruption for most of us. So I think that, we can probably be a little bit more understanding when you do hear from some of these major corporations, because they have more bills to pay than we do. So
exactly,
you kind of see things from a different perspective.
Pretty much the saving grace is the fact that everybody's going through it at the same time.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, if it would be different if it was statewide or regional or not national, but state or regional, to the point where they didn't understand what your plight was. Now everybody understands.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. What advice would you give a business owner who's interested in starting a real estate business right now?
You have to invest in yourself. Preparation meets opportunity always. If you are entering this business or want to enter this business, not only think about what's good about the business, what could go wrong in the business, because you are the executive director, you are the owner, you are the broker, or whatever the case may be, you are the real estate agent, you are an independent contractor. And what goes along with independent contractor is preparing for all aspects of the business.
Absolutely.
I mean, you're the president, you're the vice president, you're the secretary, you're the treasurer, you're the quality control, you're the inventory. I mean, you're going through so many facets of the business that you need to be prepared for all aspects of it.
Yeah, I feel too, if a business owner can start a business right now in the eye of a storm, then you could look at what you're going to do when things are up and running again. You'll like really soar and take off, because like this is, I mean, if you could start, you know, it's kind of almost like a seller's market. If you can become a realtor in a seller's market, when it flips, because eventually all of this stuff happens in cycles, you'll really be prepared at that point.
Very much so. Very much so. I mean, it's incumbent upon you to look at all aspects going up and down of the business at this point in time. Since you're entering in such a position where things could shift at any moment and what have you, you have to be prepared for those shifts. You have to be able to pivot during that time. And if you're entering this business at this point, know and watch what other people are going through. Learn from those lessons. Don't think you're going to conquer the world and everything, because the world is conquering us at this point.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
We have to be ready to adjust at this point.
Yeah. I mean, I think I like your advice, because you're not telling someone not to start a business. You're just telling them to prepare themselves. I think that's great.
Yeah. I mean, look at your strengths and your weaknesses.
Since you talked about pivoting a couple times, or how they can supplement their income.
Exactly. And not only that, be careful in how you enter the business. Make sure that you're attending these Zoom calls and these webinars and training sessions and what have you, because they can prepare you for something that you weren't aware of prior to this, or had no way of knowing until this situation happened.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much, Ken, for joining us. I did hear from Attorney Sobel. He said he had some technical problems getting on the call tonight. I'm not sure what happened, but you'll have to join us again when we have more guests. It was great chatting with you. Any closing remarks, or how can buyers and sellers contact you if they want to use your services in the future? Okay, again, my name is Ken Scott. I'm with CSW Real Estate. My office number is 313-863-5555. And my cell number is 313-819-7065. Okay, wonderful. And you can find me on Facebook as well as Facebook as well as CSW Real Estate .shop. All right, great. Okay, well, thank you so much, Ken. Ken is also interested in joining Detroit Business Hub Group, so we're looking forward to having you come on board with us as well. All right, thank you. Okay, have a good weekend, holiday weekend. You as well. Enjoy your holiday. Right. Thank you for joining us today. Detroit Business Hub Group is committed to your success. Go to nancyoneal.com/DBHG for business tips, blogs, videos, and virtual classes. Watch your investment pay off.